Just to let you know, that's right.
Well, hello, Larry.
Tonight at Larry's, we take it to the next level, giving you live performances and in-depth talks with the UK rap legends Family Quest. So sit back, grab a drink as we catch up with the UK original rap crew who haven't been together for at least 30 years. Who said Larry was sleepwalking?
This is the Larry Show.
Family Quest are in the room. They come a little bit mob-handed, so it was only right that me and Basil just joined up on the other side and represent back. So thank you and welcome to Larry's.
Yep,
welcome. Thank you.
It takes a little bit longer than it normally does, but we go through everybody.
Yeah.
Respect. Your go.
I'm just going to
I represent for both of you.
Salute to all of you. One of the things that we have to point out as well is that Family Quest, one of the leading pioneers of rap groups in the UK. First off, how did you actually get into the culture? Not necessarily into rapping or MCing, but how did you all get into the culture?
I think we all have slightly different stories, but all from the same, you know what, same song but different story, as you say. Because for me, Planet Rock was a main key. When I heard that, it was like all of a sudden we are looking for the perfect beat. You know, we just was like, wait, what is this? And I wanted more of that. And I can't say the same thing for everybody, but I believe it was at that same point in time that for me became a calling, and I'm sure that somebody else may have.
Actually, Planet Rock did it for me, actually, because I was in the school playground, so I was about 13 or 14, and an older kid put headphones on my head, and I heard Planet Rock, and I was just like, what was that? And then after that, I got moved from Grove to Islington, and I saw Wild Style, the movie, and I got kicked out of school at the same time, and part of what the behavioural unit used to, and I was a good kid, by the way, just it's like the grown-ups around me were just but anyway, they took me to see Wild Style, and at the same time at the unit we was going to the studio. So and I used to write poetry from when I was about 12 years old, so I just meshed the two together. Next time I went to studio I was ready, had all these rhymes, and then the guy that was running it introduced me to these guys that was already set up as a reggae crew that was just crossing over into hip-hop.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring in because our culture was West Indian. So West Indian was basically reggae music, calypso, and different country and western. So basically that's what we used to have. Radio stations was one station on a Sunday night.
Tony Williams,
whatever, Rodigan, whatever, when he was younger, playing the music that we listened to. So hip-hop or rapping, Sugar Hill Gang, that sort of stuff, cousins coming over from New York with mixtapes, like, what is this sound? You know, what's going on, what's it all about? I mean, that's what brought me into it more, say, okay, this is like what we're doing anyway, but with a different sound, more, for me, it was just more progressive. Same sort of era like when the punks were coming out, because remember it was 78, 76, 78. We went into it in the 80s, but that was a little bit of history behind us. So it was like, it was new, it was exciting. People said it wouldn't last. As you know, it has, and it's continuing to be stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing we got into.
People used to say to me that it's just a phase, and I still say, no, it's not. I'll still be listening to hip-hop when I'm 30, yeah.
You've passed it now.
Moved the goalpost a little bit since then, yeah.
What about you, Chico?
I am hip-hop.
Right.
All right then, punk, ska, lovers rock, steppers, roots, sound system, even a bit of the soul, skateboarding, electro music. Before Planet Rock, I'm afraid, I didn't know the names of these tunes that I was listening to, early rap stuff, from cousins and relatives again from New York. And we're still talking the 70s, and before we even get to the 80s, yeah. And so yeah, these guys, and then the Family Quest.
And you seem to have mixed it in with cartoons, because you used to like all your mad cartoons, and you mixed your rap with
yeah, I came from the heavy metal comic reading early background as well, regarding literature as well.
But I think what's important as well is the sound system link, because we was all of us into sound systems. We used to call it toasting in them days.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
That was the link, that was the common ground.
That's the U-Roy and the I-Roy before you even get to the like Nicodemus and the sound system that us guys was in.
dreadlock something. And so I said to Nazi dreadlock something. And someone say go make it ragged around town. And I go step it downtown.
Yeah.
What was the name of the sound system?
Jafrika.
Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, Jafrika.
Is that still going, or is that
The guy who runs it now calls it Professor's Touch, and it's more like a mobile thing that he does.
But he was like a professor because, we don't have that form of culture today because the amplifiers built at home. And we built an amplifier on a plank of wood. Yeah, everything.
Amplifiers.
Yeah,
We built an amp on a plank of wood. I mean, can you imagine
We
that?
built our own sound
and we
effects
run
as
that,
well that you tap.
on a blues night one time. So everything was in-house, you know what I mean?
I got to remember though, Carnival was big as well, so Carnival was another link to sound systems and how we used to party and get down and be as a community. Obviously, when we linked from reggae was predominantly the sound of the Carnival. Slowly it changed to hip hop, soul, dance and dance music and to what it is now.
So what did you call yourselves before Mystery was involved and you were doing the reggae?
Recession Steppers,
Recession
that's it.
Steppers.
That sprung up from a crew called Damaged Youth, which was a friend of ours called Nigel Stewart and Tony B and Steve, the drummer.
I have to interject and give respect to the early sound systems I was involved with, which was Tradition, Pescadille, King's Cross, and that was very early 70s, and Enforcer in Arundel Park. Remember them, Bless Them Sounds, Reverence, Sledgehammer, all them sounds there, you know? Big up, respect.
Yeah, I'm guessing the early days though, that transition across, what people started doing under the banner of hip hop and holding a mic and MCing, which everyone thought was a new thing, wasn't really a new thing.
Exactly.
What year was it when you met these guys?
About 1983.
83.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I was 14 or 15 when I met you guys. Yeah.
And that was through the link that you had with someone at the
That
studio?
was through going to the studio and, yeah, he just said, I've got these people I want to introduce you to. And then that was it. As soon as we met, we just, that was it. It was just formed.
It worked straight away?
Straight away, yeah.
The thing is, you know, and I always say this, hats off to you, Mystery, because, I mean, because your friend that you came up with, what's her name again?
Julia.
Yeah.
Julia. But no, but both, these girls were just, and I'm sorry to speak of you like in the past tense, but they were just talent. Yeah, I mean, when they came in, we used to go to it was a studio called Islington Bus Company, and we was there like every Wednesday. We'd go out there and just jam. And when Mystery came along, just to introduce, they were just, as she said, she had all this poetry, and when she was running it down, it was just like, that deep shit, you know, serious shit. And it was just like, well, you know, welcome aboard if you want to be a part of this, because we all appreciated, one thing is like last night, Chico started, and you know, he fed me, and like the thing is, we all fed each other, and that was the path that we had back in the day. Everyone would be busting a rhyme, and it would inspire you to come up with the next line, and we used to just bleach the time doing that.
Are you sleepwalking? I'm gonna have to pop the microphone on. I was sleepwalking. Mystery!
Wake up, everybody, know what's going on. Do you live your life right, or are you living it wrong? Do you play with the shadows that dance in the night? Is your soul being twisted by your lack of insight? It's a fog so thick you can't see through. Don't let me stop you understanding what I'm saying to you. You'll be held back by people with niche for brains and let you look on the truth, cause it's still remade. They close your eyes, turn you blind, without you realizing, so you won't mind. If you realize that you would mind, with both eyes open, you could be blind and corrupt. Well, wait, your body and soul. It's breakfast time, you're in the cereal bowl. Who's controlling the dream? You're walking in, play with your life like it ain't no fin. Snap out of it now, before you reach the end. You ain't chasing nothing, just chase the trend. Listen up, my friends, hear the message we send. Now you see the light, will you start again? Behind the curtain of knowledge is where the truth lies. You get there by fighting within, between the lines. If you're strong, you can do it. If you're weak, you can try. You might find a shift in the things you pass by.
Mystery's in the house.
When Mystery came in again, it was just slotted in, and everything just worked. I mean, I wasn't even called E-Mix back then.
No, we
They just called me Papa Adrian, you know, because it was coming from. That's what y'all call me, right? But it was Papa Adrian. I was a daddy then. You know
I remember it was Papa Adrian.
No, but the thing as well, I mean, the reason
why
why we was in the studio because we was on the street, and
Yeah.
it was getting pretty bad in the street. You know, he was getting in trouble and stuff. And the person she's talking about was, I want to name him actually, Stuart Johnson.
Yes.
He saw us and said, listen, do something else with your lives. Come away from the street, let's do something else. So music was the idea. Music was the vehicle to push us forward. And I think that was important because now you see what's happening now in the streets in London and all major cities, is that there's no mentors, no youth teachers, no one's actually telling these kids, step away from the street, let's try something different, let's try something new. Something that's going to make you have a history, have a future.
Yeah.
So that's important as well. Like I said, Stuart Johnson really stepped up and said, no, come off the street, do something interesting, do
Hats
something
off.
positive.
Yeah. Going back slightly from that first time you were in the studio and you met these guys, how did you feel being a young white woman in amongst, and only because of the time, the only reason I say this is because of the time, but...
You know what, we've
Didn't
never...
bother me, I had that from all my life growing up in Grove.
Yeah.
It was very multicultural in Grove in the 70s, so I was already heavily
So it was always embedded
influenced
in you,
by
yeah,
West
yeah.
Indian culture. And then when I got moved to Islington, and then I had all that stick at school, and you know, my mum had that, my mum was quite olive and like dark curly hair, and there was all this suspicion about like what roots I'm from anyway, and Stuart kind of saved me from all that racist shit I was getting at school, so it confused me, and then I got brought into the safety of the family quest, and I was like, okay, I feel
But even as a
you
woman,
know.
not necessarily being like a white woman with 3 black guys, a woman with 3 guys, just to make it like that.
I've
it's
always
still-
been like, I'll jump in the deep end of the pool and just see.
I think
see
she'd
sink or
probably be
swim.
the last one standing in a fight with you guys.
Yeah, most definitely. No, most definitely. Most
We
definitely.
never told her she was white.
Yeah, well, what do you mean?
I
I'm
only found out
white.
recently. I only found out recently.
So how did you come across the name Family Quest?
That was almost in what we just said
Yeah,
there. It's
it was-
basically, we came as a community, as a collective, and we were trying to think of a name. We didn't want a name that was aggressive, because that's one thing I remember thinking to ourselves, not an aggressive name, because we like something, we want to promote positivity. And family was something that's positive, and we're looking for a quest, and I think we just linked up into from there.
It was like, individuals. When people speak about evolution of mankind and everything, you know, everyone says we're supposedly come from one, and we were just individuals that come together as one. So that in itself, community, family, and we had a drive. We had a vision of doing something, helping people. So it's a quest, as one of Chico's rhymes, a quest for a future we'd love to share, and I know for a fact we're going to get there. And that's the ethos.
It's amazing that you guys had that so far back, which I know other people did.
You
It's
know
not
what's
unique
quite
to some
nice
ways.
as well? Like, my mum is remarried and her husband's a bit worried about, you know, me hanging around with these black guys. And, you know,
why?
he can stick it up his arse now because, you know, 35 years later, you know, I've got good... Where were your friends from 35 years ago?
One of the beautiful things is it's been 30 odd years
There's
that
some
all
deep shit
4 of
involved.
us have sat on the same chair together and things like that. So, but yet,
They are family.
the time that we've spent together, it is, you know, nothing has changed. You know what I mean? We've all got a bit older, but you know, I've been watching it. We've all just been the same way, having the same laugh. There's nothing, no hold barred. It's just family. You know what I mean?
But that's when you identify family, though, isn't it? And maybe family in one sense doesn't really mean your real family as such. But when you've got connections with people that you don't see for a long, long time, and then the day that you see them, it's like slots back in.
Right
like,
back into
naturally.
it, that's right.
That's when you know it's family.
Yeah, for
you know?
real.
And you guys mentioned last night about the length of time that you have been apart, like or since you've been all together as one. How long is that? Just
As a band together.
No, but like the
have
four
not
of you people
performed with
together.
these guys since I was a teen, or anywhere on stage in
Yeah,
public
no,
since
yeah.
I was a teenager.
Wow.
And then last night I performed in public as a 49-year-old. So
It's 30 years.
49 years
it's
young.
mad.
She's
That's
36.
that's
49
mad.
years young.
I'm in 26. So yeah, but
It was actually
Just-
beautiful to watch, to be honest.
felt magic
you.
afterwards.
Yeah, it was
I was like,
beautiful to watch.
that was really fantastic thing to be able to experience.
No, for me, it was like a serious time warp because, you know, the scenery, it was very much similar to Spats. The dance floor, basically the same size. The fact that the window there almost represented the mirror, which was in the same position. You know what I mean? So, and what we was watching was ideally the same thing that we had in Spats. Breakers, and we're on one
MCs
side.
freestyling, yeah.
And so it just
culture was
sort
there.
of
Some
like
real hip hop.
built up. And for me, it was very much like our first time in Spats, because when we was invited by Tim Westwood, and we only had the one rap, you know what I mean? And he asked us to perform it. So we said, yeah, we'll come down and perform it. Went down there, you know, watching, as we walking in, we seen the queue outside, everything was nice, we got in there, the vibe is nice in there, and we were waiting to throw down our little piece. Westwood played Sucker MCs, and we all done our thing, and the crowd received it nicely, everything was just going great. And we all was looking at each other, real pleased, and we've done our thing as far as we're concerned, and Westwood just played another dub. And then all of a sudden he's going, yeah, carry on, guys, carry on. And we all looked at each other, carry on? We come up here with the one rap. But the lucky thing was, the fact we're having the sound system background, I mean, it then meant we now had to dig into our resources. But last night, we didn't know what we was going to do. You know, we was maybe going to have a little jam or whatever, but it was almost the same thing. The vibes were just built up, and whatever was happening based on the atmosphere that everyone was creating. You know what I mean? So it just fed us all the way, and we just carried on.
So if you sleepwalk and you feel like a jerk, if you do, take a look at people going to work, cause to me, it looks like they're all asleep every morning, yawning, they're out on the street. I went to shake one's hand, I don't know if he can, cause when I ask him how he is, he says, I don't want. So if you sleepwalk and again and again, if you feel like a doctor, tell a doctor or your friend. 35 years.
To have all of you like jump on the mic, that was like, you know, I was like, it's a cherry on the cake, isn't it? You know, it's an added bonus, really.
It's quite funny because a lot of people on social media this morning, people was talking about Family Quest. What's this? Wells? What's going on?
Yeah.
I want to go back to like when we back to what Ian was saying about Spats, and because Spats was important, especially for the scene at that time, because it was the only place that was doing a hip hop session, a regular hip hop session, where anyone from around England used to come down, because not only from London, we used to get from Birmingham and Manchester coming down because they know about it.
And under 21s.
And under 21s, which is important as well. And I think it built like a little hotspot for the culture, so people knew. Obviously, we know about Covent Garden, Baz, you know as well. Covent Garden was linked to that as well. So I think it was like that was the hotbed of hip hop in England in them 5-8 years in the 80s. That really built up the scene. That was important. And we was part of that as well.
Can I ask about your connection with electro rock? How did you get that gig?
That's a good question.
Morgan Khan. Got another word for that gig.
Did he approach us through David Toope, or was it?
Well, David Toope came in afterwards. Morgan Khan introduced us to David Toope, and from there it went on.
To sleepwalking.
I think all four of us has got a little bad vibe about that, about the process of that. Not the actual result, but just how it went, because it wasn't. They took away a lot of our what's the word I'm looking for? Our creativity, our input.
Yeah. But even on, I have to say, when you say that, on our performance, they actually cut the hell out of it that it didn't really even make sense.
There's a lot of sharps.
But what they said is they cut that because they've put us X amount. There's a lot of outtakes of us.
So they sought us for their purposes, basically.
Yeah, basically. Which is understandable.
This is an urban group. Yeah, let's use them, but our way in terms of editing and what we want from them. So we would have an idea of what we would like the mix to sound, the final mix, and they have theirs. So they take away our creative input. Basically.
Morgan Khan was a businessman. He didn't care about hip hop. Yeah.
No.
Before we went on stage at Wembley Arena, I nearly didn't go on because they'd took my rap and put that shoe bop 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 thing in the middle of it, and I weren't happy with it because I was like, if you're not even listening to the lyrics, you just cut that bit and put that in. You didn't ask me or anything, and I wasn't going to go on. And we only got paid £50 each for Wembley Arena. Wow. And I said I wasn't doing it for that either. I'm not doing it for the 50. I'm not doing it for the £50. And I remember what was told to me was, well, fine, because I got a whole lot of rappers that would do it for free, and you've got a record to promote. And then I had to sit in the dressing room and weigh it up. And I thought, you know, I don't want to miss out on the chance of playing Wembley Arena. I'm glad I did it, you know. And yeah, I would have done it for free, Morgan Khan, and he knows that. But, you know, you shouldn't be taking advantage of people like that.
Yeah, but that's business, isn't it? Yeah. That's the record industry, and that's the way it goes.
Well, it is.
When you're older now...
when you're younger, you don't realise there's editors, producers, executive producers involved. Yeah. I think the point is that they should have conversed more with the artists involved in that project. Instead of carte blanche, we just do what we want to each and every artist. And we're older now. I can see that because I've worked with producers since then, and editors and executive producers.
It's funny because, like, you know, it's not only us, but it's not only hip hop music, but it's all music.
It's all.
You get
But mind,
producers and
they're
they'll-
paying
Well,
them
no,
and
it's
stuff
just
like that.
ravaged with that. You don't even get
you know,
like,
but I think we're all on cross purposes because you was asked about electro rock and we're talking about Fresh 86.
I was actually going to lead to that.
oh yeah, sorry, of course,
That's
it's so
what-
long ago.
Electro rock is a good one
Process.
because that's automation, and again, those guys approached us as well. I think was it through Stuart, and we went to their offices in Holloway Road, didn't we? And had a meeting with them there.
No, you know how we got that? We sent the mixtape in to Tim Westwood and he played it, and then afterwards he said, I've got some record producers that want to cut that as a record.
The initial.
I remember, and we all
initially.
jumped like, yeah, you got a record deal. Yeah, that's how that happened.
Was you still in school when electro rock like hit?
Yeah.
And how did your schoolmates see it?
Well, I'd actually been thrown out of the school, and I was in a unit for badly behaved children, and well, my life was really manic around then.
How us three survived there, I don't know.
Then I
Or the other way
then I was homeless and in a hostel. Yeah, a lot of stuff was going on really for me then.
I actually think units
manic
were actually.
time in my life.
I think units were actually created for intelligent kids that stupid teachers didn't know how to deal with.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was totally that. Yeah, it
Because
was.
you saying that you was using poetry as well to, was that?
I did in
to
West
vent?
London. I was at All Glowing Reports in the school. Got moved to Islington Green, which was like a NF school. It was the first time I saw that kind of racism. You never saw that in Grove like that. And it was a total culture shock for me, and I wouldn't conform to it, you know. So I rocked the boat in the school, and I said to the year head, because I was getting called names. So instead of going under, I rebelled against it. I wore my Dread Broadcasting Corporation T-shirt to school. Got told I'm not allowed to wear it, and then told the year head, you know, if you've got a problem with racism, you should be sorting it out instead of leaving it to the new girl. Off to the psychiatrist, into the behavioural unit. You know, I'm a problem. That's what happened, really. Gave me loads of shit to write about, you know.
yeah. Inspiration
and
was
yeah,
there.
still writing about it now.
So, and that was what you was putting into your poetry?
All kinds of different elements went into my poetry, but yeah, that was definitely part of it. I definitely had a good sense of like injustice and underdogs and power being corrupted. But you know, but I liked all the girly stuff as well. You know, I was young, you know, so I liked fairy tales, and I got all kinds of different raps, political raps, fairy tale-y kind of raps I had. I mean, back then I could write 100 raps a day.
So it's just like just releasing that frustration and energy, and you know, into something like a bit more positive. Like regardless of what you're going into or what you're actually facing, it's like, right, let me release it this way. Just right.
Yeah, it is.
So sometimes, like, because I've done some work with young people before, and it's like being shut off on how to express yourself. Yeah. And if you're shut off from one way, you're going to express it another way, and sometimes the other way isn't what people want to see.
Yeah, that's very true.
Going back to Fresh 86. After you done Fresh 86, you was in front of a massive crowd. That must have been really kind of
daunting as well.
Amazing.
Like, heart must have been going.
It's scary before you get on stage. Once you're on the stage and open your mouth, it's just zone.
Yeah, the lights.
You might as well be in your bedroom rapping, right? Because you can't see the audience. They're dark. Yeah, it's darkness. You know, so yeah.
But I must admit, I mean, because as you say, we've been doing Spats. We've done a few festivals here and there, but Wembley was just a mess, and it was very daunting because for the first time now we are actually performing to the nation. You might as well say. Right. And we had X amount of a reputation where people liked us. So when we actually stepped on the stage, we heard the cheers, but amidst the cheers was the first time ever we'd heard boo from let's say people up north and so on that didn't know who we were, and we were English rappers, because again we were like the only English representatives.
I didn't know that.
And well, Trust me, I heard them.
I
And I was like,
don't remember the BBC,
walking on the
but you have
stage,
said that
mic in my
story
hand,
before.
and all of a sudden, ooh.
It's oversensitive.
But I thought, you know
Maybe
what?
one person's a boot.
We got a show to do. So, and when we started it, as Missy said, you know, we couldn't see the crowd, so we just did what we had to do. But when we left the stage, it was amazing because there were no boos.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, everyone's like, damn. And we was like, damn.
Why'd you have to make it look about me? I was walking down the street just to understand. So a man got your back, started running away. But he got caught in Harlem way. And now we got a room and a place to stay. A woman sat on the pavement crying. I said, I asked her why. She said,
my baby's dying. Only 3 months and looking old. He's got the fever and the flu plus the common cold. All these things because I ain't got no money to pay the house bills or feed my family. I had to sell my jewelry, sell my car.
but the money she got, it didn't get her far.
The older lady,
And some of you guys.
when you see me in the stars and ask questions why.
Why?
The letter before the Z,
Alphabetical rhyme.
to you I'm cheesy, serious, now I'm with the
Family.
And if you really didn't
Get it.
the things I'm saying, I'm ahead of my time while you're just looking, waiting, learn,
Bootleg sex
why do yourself a like a time
Time for raping.
for the us people into the beat, for fresh
MCs to make you wait.
With a family quest,
Respect that name
we make you rock.
until you're lame.
Till we turn it out in the greatest style, a soul down by law.
And work your world.
We got the power to control your souls, and we got the rhymes to achieve our goals.
So para MC, you gotta stay away. I beg you
Go and find
Some other praise. We're here
Hit
to rock
the house.
every day and every night.
I'll
Don't give us the beat. Grab the mic
and say, let's dance. Para MCs best not come
We're
there.
the biggest, the baddest,
The freshest, the best, and we go by the name of the family.
So you got
crest.
Fresh 86, you got your recorded compilation album dropped, and what happened after the compilation album? What was the move after that?
Well, you know, I think this is where society plays a part, and I mean, the powers, people start living their lives. I mean, children start coming in. I mean, I myself had my firstborn, which was my son Kyron, then society, the want of having to pay the rent and so on comes in, so we end up slowly moving in different directions.
What kind of year was that? Sorry.
Well, I'll say that's got to be between 1990 and 1992.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd left before that. I was one of the
Yeah, I
first
think
to
you
leave.
left. I think you left down.
Yeah, I just had issues.
We're still doing music though. We're still doing music, but it was slowly
I
going
was
different.
just living in a hostel for homeless
Yeah.
people. My friends got stabbed in the heart and killed, and that
Which
was
affected you?
that affected me. And I do you know what? I just didn't want to be on the stage with everybody looking at me. I just moved off into the shadows and put my head down. I just didn't want to be in the spotlight, basically.
Me and Ian started doing, we started to do like a more community sort of thing, scratch workshops, hip hop workshops for the young people, that sort of thing. At the same time, we were drifting apart as a group, but we're still doing music. And in the end, I thought it was a bit later. I thought it was 94, it was the end of this quest, but I wasn't sure. Maybe it was 92. But it sort of drifted off. Everyone went their way. Everyone went their way.
Okay.
It was sad. But,
Well, the one thing, the main, at the community, the group may have fizzled, but it wasn't a thing where we split up and it wasn't no one's talking to each other.
Yeah.
We're still
the core was
family.
still there. The core was always still there. We just didn't perform no more. I mean? So.
And don't forget, because that was time when, now this is the era where Jazzy B and Salt the Soul was involved, and the Emis was involved in that in the early days quite heavily.
Well, less said the better, or you might not be able to.
I just want to bring that up. No, I just want to bring that up. I don't want to go into details, but that's what it was. So he's moved to different genres, different type of music, and meeting different people. Still in the scene, but just making different sort of actions.
And obviously the whole rap game changed as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it changed a bit more hardcore, a bit more gangster.
I'll say, but when you say the rap core changed, I mean, sadly, all of a sudden there became a division between rap and hip hop.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because the way I look at things, I mean, one of the things that we are proud of what we did is we was never derogative. Nothing we said was to put any individual really and truly down. It's always meant to be upliftment. But now with rap is a put down on women, put down on cultures. It's a put down on
peers,
all the way.
What is your legacy. What kind of legacy do you think that you've left for
Our children.
In what way? Go on.
That they'll learn from us and see that their parents want us to guide, let's say society if you want, but the bigger picture of the world in a more positive direction. They see what we've done, they could say, yeah, this is what my pops did, this is what my mums did, that was cool. And like you guys said, they don't have to follow no negativity. Yeah. They're following what's good for them, you know. We're not the stereotypical, you know, mums and dads. You know, we wanted to do something positive and we did it.
I think the legacy is that, you know, it's, all the people that was there in the beginning when it was bubbling up and like turning before it just took over the world and hip hop and, you know, like it did, even though it changed and became a money cow. And I think the legacy is everyone that was there in that beginning bit has got it, like it made a tribe. You know, we all recognise. We don't need no tattoo to say, yeah, I'm part of, you know, I don't know, whatever gang. But it's that connection, and it is a life connection. Look how long since we seen you, and straight away.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
and it is like a family thing, isn't it? Right. You know, and that's the legacy that we should leave. That's what, you know, that's what hip hop's supposed to be about. It's supposed to help people come together as a safe community to express themselves. We have each other, and it's a strong connection. It's something that's real. It's not materialistic. You know, it's not egotistical.
For me, the legacy, well, for me, the legacy is walking around London or wherever, and someone stops and goes, "Family Quest." I don't know the guy or the lady, but they stop you and they tell the history. I remember when I used to go Spat, I was 12 years old, I was 13, I wasn't allowed out, but you lot brought something to me, and I'm like, I don't know you. You look so young. I don't know who you are, but thank you. But the thing is, we forget that we made a legacy because we're just doing it for our love of the music and I enjoy it. But it's other people tell us, you lot got a legacy. You lot made us do this. You lot inspired us to do that.
All four of you have been so influential across the planet, like across England, no doubt.
Yeah.
From end to end, no doubt. All four of you've like. You've
Yeah,
given
people-
people a lot of hope to do things, especially female rappers.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't let no one put you in a frame.
That extends across the world because I didn't realise that film went global.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It did. It went global. I
It
know
did.
that. It did.
Trust me. So
that's like a. That is just like put the video in. It's like Mr. Ben goes into the cube.
Even my mum got in on that video. That was my 18th birthday. Yeah.
We didn't make big hits. We were on TV and everything, but the word on the street and the underground is that Family Quest was one of the pioneers of UK hip hop.
Yeah.
it was a pleasure having you at the Jam last night. It was an added pleasure to see you lot on the mic after all these years. Do you know what I mean? And you lot just, it just gelled.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity, guys. That is really great.
If you enjoyed it that much, you could do a little something for the camera if you wanted to. just to show those people that weren't there that you know what you're doing, you know.
On the wheels of steel, we got the fresh. Everybody in the house, come and dig our quest. All the ladies, all the guys, even if you're fly, you want to make cash money, then you gotta try. Paris, New York, London town. It's a quest for a future when we're around. There was 5 of us, but now there's 4.
We're the Family Quest.
We're down by law.
Family.
Huh.
Family.
Family. Family. We're the MCs from the city that was rapping this crazy double talking like exclusive every stage. Here I yapping party people. Keep on dancing, but still they keep on turning, entertaining people. We keep you rocking, you keep people entertaining. Took teamwork, people to keep us jamming, and you know you're glad with what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
I've been kicking this since you silly bitch brings sport to them shitty quits. From spitting jams with ELECTRO and shows with black swag and it's still progressing. Many lessons learned from all the influence. Shout to the shock always. Jam those funky tunes for ages. Harrison, the ledge, the man, the cat. KSD and all still rolling with me. Black keeping it going. Give much love to Red Dragon, Gang, Squid Ninjas. Still meaning business. This is South Wales state of mind. Memorized by the sway and the girls behind. And I'm feeling fine. Years time, I'm still broke. Guarantee still is happy. Dunny and family for life. Never forget HAV to the RDNICKOB. So you people jump up. Just to not give up.
Then we love this disgrace.
I'm from the cooler rented up by ZBB in your face.
And so you people jump up.
Recognize the one place just to not give up. And we love this disgrace. Yeah. R.I.P. Break Toaster. Big up the hold up. Big up Live and Larry's. Big up Mean Business. Big up my mum. Big up my nan. Yeah.
Real hip hop. It's the place to come to. It's live at Larry's.
This is the Larry Show.
Just to let you know, that's right.